Hello everyone and welcome to the Armad's Cave. Out of all the Gaidens in this game, what do you think about this one, Danny?
I won't say it's the best. I'll say it's the least offensive.
It's the least bad out of all the Gaidens.
Yeah, so every other Gaiden has an annoying gimmick. And this one has an annoying gimmick too, in fact. The Fog of War, but I think what was actually intended to be the gimmick is the poison shoots. So much so that they've repeated it in FE7. And the poison shoots waste your time, but this, much like 8X, is like a breather map. And the enemies are pretty weak. I think it's mostly barbarians, archers, and thieves. And thieves is the big one, but they rush the chests to open them. However, most of the chests don't have anything good in them. There's two that have gems. There's a white gem and a red gem. But, like...
Not really.
I think most of them have, like, elixirs? Yeah, so there's... 4 of them have antitoxins, 3 of them have elixirs, 1 has a torch, 1 has a chest key, which everyone talks about the chest key as being the worst one, but you're trading 1 use of either a lockpick or a chest key for 5 uses of a chest key. Like, I think that's actually a good trade. And then the big money ones are white gem and red gem. And those are actually the ones that are easiest to get, too. They're farthest away from the enemy thieves. I think actually it's pretty unlikely... Because the enemy thief that is closest to the red gem one, I'm pretty sure he goes left first and grabs one of the antitoxins. Or no, he grabs an elixir. So yeah, they're basically the thieves will fill their inventories because they have an iron sword and a lockpick and then 3 blank spots. And once they've filled their inventories, they will try to flee the map instead of trying to open the chests. I'm fairly certain that if you kill 1 thief, neither of the gem chests will be taken. In fact, I don't think any of the gem chests will be taken no matter what. Yeah, because there's only 3 thieves, and they're just gonna go... So, like, it really only matters to kill them if you care about the smaller treasures, which, to be fair, like, I tend to at least try to get... You know, the elixirs are nice.
Oh yeah, some elixirs are definitely nice to have.
Money, I guess.
But something like this, I don't really care as much.
Yeah, you can steal it, because you're probably faster. Or it's not even that you're faster, like, you can just straight up steal it.
Yeah. That's assuming if that's what I want to do with the store's turn this turn. How do you do against this guy? He has a halberd. We take that. Yeah.
So one of the things that I was suggesting was for you to field 3 thieves. Just because you only have, what is it, 8 deployment slots? No, you've got 10 deployment slots total. But one of them is taken up by Roy, and you have Merlinus on it as well.
Oh, it is
so there's just 8 slots. 1 out of 8 chance that people would die. Oh, it's only 8 chance. Wait, is it 8 total?
It's Roy plus 7.
So it's a 1 out of 6 chance that whoever you field will die.
Yeah,
which is why we have all these scrubs. Like, this is the reason that Geese is off the bench. Wolf is our only promoted unit. No staffers. I know, Jacob, you had said you were thinking about bringing Ray. Just because he's the least valuable staffer because he only has E rank, which, like, I get, but you did just promote him.
I did.
And, like, he'll get promoted funky. Like, his combat's not terrible. It's really not.
It's not terrible.
You can buy Nosferatu for him in the desert, and, like, he can do some stuff with that. Because Nos in GBA is busted. It's full heal. It's just really heavy.
So you're at risk of getting doubled if you try to use it.
But I'm pretty sure in FE6, it's not as heavy as it is in the other 2. I'm gonna check. But I think it's like... I don't think he's weighed down by it, or if he is, it's only by a little.
He's only weighed down by a little. The problem's the accuracy on it, because you could just miss your heal.
Yeah. Well, but if you double, you know.
That is true.
If you double, it is definitely an accuracy moment, though.
Yeah, the accuracy's the big one. Because this insta-promoted Ray, I checked before starting, he had 95 hit with Flux before a Void. Oh my gosh, Geese.
I am...
So much damage.
So if we give him a
It's funny to
class
think
of druid.
that Roy is one of my primary combat units over here. He's unironically probably my strongest unit at the moment. Oh my gosh, Sword
So
Reaper.
as a druid, Ray has 95 hit with Nosferatu, just as a 12-1 druid. Which is not terrible.
Wait,
like
is that the same hit as Flux? Because I thought
if what you checked was Flux, then it is. But he starts with a Nosferatu, not a Flux. So are you sure you didn't check Nos by accident?
Maybe I checked Nos by accident.
But yeah, he has 10 AS and 95 hit with Nos. Which, like, you would prefer it to be higher, especially if he's getting one-shot. But he's not getting one-shot. Like, he can take a hit. Well, if he's getting one-shot, Nos wouldn't help him anyway. He's not getting two-shot, I guess I should say.
I had a feeling that's what you meant.
He's not getting one-rounded. Like, he's 7 defense, 26 HP, so that's an effective 31 bulk, or 33 bulk, on the physical side of things. And then, like, he's got 12 resistance, but you're not fighting mages with him. So yeah, like, it's not great, but he's probably the best Nos tank just because Nime is so frail.
I've heard some people try to defend that, and I almost want to try it, because I've checked some of the numbers, and it doesn't look like the worst idea in the world. But it doesn't look like a super good one.
or Nos Nime?
Nos Nime.
No, it's a terrible idea.
It sounds like a really goofy idea, though, and I kind of want to try it.
It's a terrible idea.
Which is why I want to try it.
You have to spend a robe on her for it to
you
work,
have to spend
like, at all. And when I say work, I don't mean work. I mean, like, for you to pretend that it works.
Yes.
Like, I have heard multiple people try to say that Nime with Nos is a thing, and it's not. She's a staff bot. She's the best staff bot in the game, arguably. You could argue that the Troubadour, whose name I can't remember, it's either Priscilla or Clarine. I get them confused.
Clarine's someone in this game.
Clarine. You could argue Clarine is the best staff bot because availability plus horse. I personally think Nime is the best staff bot, but, like, she joins super late. I think she's an overrated unit just because of how late she joins and how, like, people pretend she can actually do combat. On hard mode, she fucking can't. Like, I know that now that I've said that, you're going to spend an angelic robe to make her the worst Nosferatu tank we've ever fucking seen. Just know that she's not good at combat.
It's so tempting, though.
You can technically spend a robe in order to allow her to Nosferatu the weakest units on the map, but you can also technically box in archers in order to allow Wendy to get kills in 0% robes. Like,
so true.
Just because you can fucking do it against the weakest enemies available doesn't mean it's a thing.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Not even just because you can doesn't mean you should. Like, you should if you find it fun. I'm not trying to be prescriptive. This is a single-player game. Play it the way you want. However, if you then take that to try to defend her in terms of, like, Lamau one hit.
Yeah.
Like, Nime will get one-shot by things, and I don't mean one-rounded. I mean, Nime will get fucking one-shot by things. Because her bulk is, like, worse than Ray, and she joins later. Like, it's quite tragic.
Just like this unit. He's coming so
What do you mean?
Killing.
He's the only Cav in the game, so he can't be bad. But yeah, Nime has 25 HP and 5 defense. So she has an effective 30 physical bulk. And she joins how many chapters after Ray?
A lot.
Yeah.
How do I deal with this Myrmidon?
Like, you could argue, oh, well, she has 20 skills, so she's gonna have, like, over 100 hit with Nosferatu. Doesn't matter. Like, the HP you steal back doesn't matter if you died.
True.
Because Nime has, like, 2 modes. It is I am at full HP or I am at 0 HP. I mean, you can use her against magical enemies, right? She's 18 resistance, so that's like, what, effective 43 bulk. But then, like, she's, you know, you don't have mages fight mages. Like, it's why I don't like the magic triangle. Like, I think the magic triangle is cool in that, like, you know, the way Tellius did it, where it's like a triangle inside of a triangle. Oh my god, it's so neat! And, like, it is. But Weapon Triangle is not very impactful in many games anyway, but doubly so when it's, like, mage fighting mage. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Kind of want to see what's
Although, I guess I kind of like the idea of, like, you could use Luna against anima users, because it negates their res, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was talking about earlier, I really like how well Kanos performs versus Cog of Destiny Valkyries. I find he's a pretty good person for getting rid of them. Just because...
Do you have a Nos tank, even though he gets weighed down and doubled and dies?
Well, I don't have him Nos tank, I have him use Luna versus the Valkyries. If you barrier him up, he's...
I thought that was Athos' personal weapon.
That's what everyone thinks or wants. But using Athos is... Wait, I still have to move you. Why use Athos when we can use cool units like Dart? This has to be like a behind average Trek. Oops.
I can check that? You can also steal the elixir back if you care, but like you don't.
I don't really.
What is your Trek's level?
13 with 69 EXP.
Okay.
How's he looking?
Oh, oops, that's Space Trek. Hold on. Okay. So he is actually blessed. I'm not even joking.
Oh my gosh.
Your Trek is 1 point ahead in strength. He's on par for speed, but just barely. He is... Okay, he's 2 behind in skill, which is a stat that actually matters in this. But he's 2 ahead in luck. He is on par with defense, and 1 behind in HP.
That's kind of hilarious.
And then, does he have 0 res? Because he should have 0 res.
Yeah.
On average, he has 0.45 res. Because, you want to know what his fucking res growth is?
Isn't it 0 base on 5 growth?
Yes.
Oh,
So he's not quite as much of a Gaiden unit as Barth, but it makes it, like, if anything, the 2% res is funnier.
No,
and
yeah,
therefore better.
The 2% res is a lot funnier, therefore it's a lot better. I'm upset I didn't keep that, get to keep the res level on Barth, but oh well.
Yeah, it's the only reason we didn't field him here to deal with the scary Luna Druid. Or is it a Luna Druid? No, it's an Eclipse Druid, isn't it?
I think he has Eclipse and Nas. Which, the Eclipse is whatever, but the Nas could be a little scary. It's inaccurate.
Yeah, no,
it's
I mean, we did just... It's not that inaccurate, though, is the thing.
What's the total hit on
It's
it?
not as accurate as Fire Tomes, right?
No.
But, like... Hold on, let's... FE6 Nos. Because, like, it's less accurate than you would want to Nos tank with it, right?
Yes.
But it's 70 hit. Which, like, that sounds very inaccurate, right?
No,
that
wait,
sounds very inaccurate.
No, 70 sounds good. That's more hit than an Iron Axe. Iron Axe is
Yeah,
like
that's what I was gonna
65.
say. Like, but then you remember that there's an entire class of units that can't ever have above that from their weapon. Because, like, the most accurate axe... Oh, wait, no, killer axes are more than iron, aren't they?
Probably.
Nope, killer axes are 65. Yeah,
Wow.
So, like, 70 sounds inaccurate, but then you remember that, like, there are iron weapons that are less accurate than that. The reason that shamans are not as good as anima mages is because fire is cracked in terms of accuracy.
Fire's so good. Here, we'll try
But yeah, Flux is also 70 hit, so yeah, they just have the same hit as each other.
That's so
And it's just one more
weird.
weight, too. So, like, yeah, dark magic, like, undeniably, dark magic is worse than anima because it's less accurate, right?
Yes.
But it's not as bad as you think it is. Like, it's not as bad as you think it is. I don't want to, like, you know, I don't want to overstate it, because the difference between 70 and 90 is a very big deal, especially in a game like FE6, right?
Yes.
And you do get the majority of your hit from your weapon, and this is true of every game. Like, having a high skill stat is helpful, but you get the majority of your hit from your weapon.
Yes.
Which is important to remember. So, an inaccurate weapon will always be inaccurate to a degree, unless you have an absurd skill stat. But typically the units that have really good skill are sword units, so, like, you end up with just like, oh, well, they already have an accurate weapon.
Yes.
But yeah, no, the Flux and Nos, like, they don't have great hit, but they have okay hit for the game that they're in.
And it's high enough to be scary if the enemy has it with over 20 magic.
Yes. And that's the other thing, is, like, it's low enough that Nos tanking an entire group is not as reliable as you'd like it to be, because you really don't want to miss too many times in a row. But it's high enough that, like, you can't just assume it'll miss.
Yes. And that's what's scary.
It's also worth noting it is the same hit as Iron Lances.
That's pretty crazy.
So, like, again, you get most of your hit from your weapon. Arguably, like, Dark Mages are as good at hitting things as Armor Knights.
We're dodge tanking with Roy.
I mean, if it works, it works. Didn't you just get finished saying Roy is, like, your best combat unit this map?
At the moment, I think he's competing with Fear for best combat unit. Oh no, Poison.
Don't forget Geese. Don't count Geese out. He's got very evenly distributed stats.
I'm gonna count Geese out.
but Jacob, his entire character is being a 9 out of 10. That's pretty good.
It's not 10 out of 10, so he's not good enough, and he's not 1 out of 10, so he's not funny enough.
Yeah, no, Geese is really a good demonstration of how, like, you want to min-max. But Barth is a good demonstration of how min-maxing isn't always ideal.
Well,
Barth picked the wrong stats to min-max in.
Do a thing.
If only short bows were actually brave like they are in ROM hacks.
That'd be very fun.
I mean, I guess more ROM hacks have them as 1-2 range than brave, but I've played 2 where short bows are brave, and, you know, it's not a lot, but it is more than 1.
That's a pretty funny idea.
Yeah, so I think the idea is that, like, because you get strong brave weapons later, right? But short bows are, being brave is, like, 1, it is a way to help boost bows that's not just the boring 1-2 range bows. Because I always think that, like, 1-2 range bows are kind of the most boring way to improve them, right? Like, it gives the class access to something that they kind of weren't designed to.
ROM hacking, starter pack, 1-2 range short bows.
And 1-2 range, swords that aren't magical, physical swords. And I've played some ROM hacks that have both of those, and I've still enjoyed them. But, like, I do generally prefer when you find a solution to swords and bows that isn't that.
Yes.
You know, like,
more creative
yeah, I mentioned the brave one, and that's from, the first thing I saw it in was Four Kings. And I think that's the first one that had it, because it was an earlier hack. And then, on the other hand, Vision Quest made it so the first steel weapon you have access to is steel bows. Like, the first armory, you can buy iron of everything, and then also steel bows. And it made effectiveness a really big deal, like high might bows for shooting down flyers. And I've played in Doubled or Nothing. It's just the enemies are really scary, so like it naturally makes you want to use bows. But then there's also some cool effective bows. Like there's a bow called the Spell Piercer that gives you like effective damage against mages and plus a bunch res.
Yo, just like the Spellbane Yumi in Fates.
Oh, true! I wonder if that's like where the idea came from. Only it's like actually good in that game. But the idea is, like, you give them an enemy phase now. They enemy phase mages. Like, you do the thing where you put them at the end of a mage's range, but suddenly they're really good at it. Like, they are mage killers, and I know that's a bit of a meme, but, like, it's a thing they actually are and actually do, and it's, like, actually valuable.
This guy. Wait, he has physics?
You want to kill him before he breaks Eclipse, because otherwise it's really hard. I hate killing Nos Druids.
I know.
Because, like, if you're doubling them to kill them, you're not killing them.
He has 31 attack with Nas, and he's level 1. That's scary. That just kills Trek from full HP. Trek cannot survive a round of combat with this guy.
Okay, but that's not impressive. That's really not impressive, though. Like Trek. I'm sorry, but the benchmark for killing Trek,
is not
saying that this enemy unit is really good at killing Trek sounds like saying this player unit is really good at killing soldiers in Fire Emblem 7.
True. I think I had...
Or not even 7, like even 6. Well, 6's soldiers are like a little bit tougher. But, like GBA soldiers, Fire Emblem 8 soldiers.
Yeah, the big deal with them is in FE6 is they're really beefy. They just have really high HP.
Yeah, no, that's right. So, but here's the thing: is like that druid's probably really good at killing monks in FE7. So, you know, that's a that's a benchmark you can reach, right?
Oh yeah, that's an impressive benchmark.
God, monks in FE7 might be the most pathetic enemy ever.
I think so.
Although Steel Lance Pegasus is also in FE7. Give them a run for their money.
I'd say the big thing with Steel Lance Pegasus Knights is if they hit you, they at least do damage. Monks just kind of...
You sure about that? I've dealt like I've had a 0% growth Ninian survive Steel Lance Pegasuses.
Okay, so maybe they're not that scary.
Actually, that might be an exaggeration. I had someone incredibly frail. It might not be Ninian. Ninian survives 3 monks in 0% though. It's
That's
so fucking
cool.
funny. So yeah, never mind. Monks are worse.
Yeah, I would say monks are the easiest enemy type in FE7. So how do we deal with this guy? On the bright side, if you notice, no more chests have been opened up. I think all the thieves have already run, and all of the leftover enemies are pretty much stationary. So I can kind of...
Except for that druid, he moves, I think.
Yeah, this druid moves. But I think he's trying to move...
You have 4 turns to kill him, though.
Yeah, I don't know if I can, though, because he outmoves everyone. And I don't want to send Trek just on a solo mission over here. Because Trek is a little bit not an amazing unit.
Yeah, and you did say that you think everyone is stationary, but we don't know if there's someone we missed in the fog. Like, there are some archers and brigands. Hey, look, like, that steel bow archer would probably fucking one-round Trek, right? Do we have to run the numbers, or can we just assume it?
10, 10. Okay, so it doesn't get doubled, but 20. So he takes 11 damage.
He gets 3-shot.
He gets 3-shot. And Trek doesn't double attack.
Trek's doing good. Trek's doing good.
He's doing a thing. Now come to range, Fear, or something.
If only you gave Fear the 1-2 range physical sword that every ROM hacker adds.
True. I like how this guy's going.
Actually, I've seen surprisingly few 1-2 range physical swords. I think it's because a lot of people think that, like, sword lock units are better off than bow lock units. Which, in fairness, I think is true in vanilla FE. But in a game like FE6...
I think...
Well, actually, that's not true because the bow lock units are so shit.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, I'd rather be bow locked than sword locked, but, like, Wolt and Dorothy are, like, so much fucking worse than Deike and Rutger and Fear.
I would definitely
I do think that
is better.
I do think that part of that is that just those units in particular are very strong, though.
That's true. I think we just poke this guy. Box him in. And there are some good bow units, like Shin, we talked about a lot as being really good. I like Klein, especially in the middle game. for being a free
Yeah.
bow guy. But I think I might like him because I end up having to save all my good bows for him because I'm using the other bow units.
Yeah, I mean, that is one thing that happens with, like, units who can use... Like, units who are good and can use bows often end up getting those bows as, like, kind of a PRF. Like, I think that's one of the things people love about Geats.
That's what happens to me with Wrath in FE7. Because I like using Wrath.
That too.
And Wrath is kind of the only bow unit I'm using, so he kind of gets all of them. And I'm very certain these two enemies are completely stationary. They just do not move whatsoever. Because I remember testing that out.
I think they might have, like... Yeah, I think you're right, actually.
I think they just don't move. The problem is...
Well, if that guy truly doesn't move, you can jab him, right?
I can just two-range him. I'm very certain he doesn't move. Like, 92% into our end. This guy, you overlap with the archer, and that's kind of annoying. We're just gonna... Actually, we can just sword this guy. Yeah, we'll just wait and sword this guy.
I don't think you attack, though, just in case. Like, you know, it's not very accurate, but just in case. Devil Axe is scary. I've seen that guy kill himself, though, which is very funny.
Oh, I guess
like, he crit killed himself. He crit killed himself in my Iron Man.
Oh, that's very funny.
Which was one of the most terrifying but also funny things to ever happen to me.
Devil Axe enemies are very funny in Iron Man's. Okay, yeah, that's why we didn't attack.
That's why you didn't attack, yeah. Because 32 does not equal 0. I mean, in other games, 32 equals 0, but in Fire Emblem 6, the RNG is bugged. So 32 does not equal 0, even though it's supposed to.
Oh my gosh, he actually decided to move instead of using Eclipse.